enjoy the show, play on my channel.
Oh, it's all about perfect placement of the phone.
It really is. And I've got like a portfolio phone case too, so in theory it like flips over and sits, but today it was like, I'm not gonna function. So
So Mia, Frank and Josh Shockley both have told me about you, and I am very impressed because you have 3 books. And you've been doing this for a while on your social media. You even said how you're continuing one of your books, the first one that you started off with. Matthew Everson, awesome first name, by the way. Matthew Everson and the Wild Space Goose Chase. So you're working on another book in that series. That one came out in 2022, June 18th. So I'm just looking at the description of it. For fans that don't know, Matthew Everson is an average middle school boy, finds himself in space as he is told that he has special eyes, ones that could help determine the fate of the entire universe. No pressure. He is asked to help find a girl wielding tenacious powers before Zany X, an organization plotting to take over the galaxy, can. So no pressure at all, but it's an awesome premise. Of having special eyes that can determine the fate of the universe. Don't let it go to your head.
Yeah. It's supposed it has high stakes. But at the same time, it's a lovely little comedy that I think it's family friendly, so it's fit if you want to read it to your kids, or if someone's looking for a casual read in middle school or even like elementary school.
Oh, nice.
Absolutely, because when I was checking out your Facebook, I saw that is one of the things that one of the places you were just at was, let me scroll down here, the Sussex Children's Book Festival.
Yes.
And shopping that one very prominently on your table. But the other one that really piqued my interest here was Czar. Because I immediately clicked on the book preview, and I love the artwork. Especially when you're introducing these characters, the quotes from all the characters. It's very much, it allows you to, it's like dipping into a hot tub. It lets you to just go right in, and this is the world you're in now.
Thank you. Especially with Cesar, I was actually inspired by verbatim theater to write that piece. So I wrote the character monologues and all of their quotes as if the character were actually speaking, with all their and little voice breaks and everything. In combination with a like comic feature, so it's told through like letters, comics, and also these monologues, kind of theatrical, so they could be performed if you really wanted to. But the Czar testimony, it helped me explore his character and the world I love putting him in. I'm like, here, have a terrible world, be a terrible person if you'd like. But it's like the story of like a fallen hero, so his tale, and especially from him and his friends during this wartime, they're very interesting to explore. And it really is like a hot tub, like, all right, guys, jump right on in.
Because
bring your floaties if you like, but totally.
I like because especially the image that you have with your 3 books, Matthew Everson's sci-fi trilogy, aliens, spaceships, prophecies. It's quick little taglines that, I'm in.
Yeah.
Character testimonial series, hybrid comic, broken romance, moral dilemma. These are things that it speaks to the anime fan in me, to where it's like, okay, no, this is exactly like something I would pop right in an anime if they had any of these descriptions.
It's an honor, yeah.
Well, especially Threads of Amends, because I'm gonna be reading all of these. It's fantasy, magic, misadventure, enemies to friends. Once again, it's all these kind of premises that, like Frank and I were talking before you before you joined. It's when you're writing something, especially just working on a project. Sometimes it's a amalgamation of everything that you've experienced. So you take everything and you put it in what he called the blender. Sometimes it's blended up nice and you can't really see all the ingredients in there, but other times it needs some work. But all of these books, it just allows you to check your brain at the door and say, let me see what this tale is. Because even the descriptions make you want to check out and see where this book is going to take you.
Thank you. Yeah, they're super fun books. And then it also is, I feel like the art is very connected to the author. So we're pulling on like these very familiar tropes and these very familiar characters. So, like, if you know yours truly, you're going to be like, well, I can see you in your book. But at the same time, it's something unique. So it's bringing a piece of you. So, like, where you've been. So I was a big manga reader. I love comics. I love theater sometimes as well. But as you said, like it does feel like kind of like an anime premise, so it pulls from just my experience in like that lovely anime like light novel, excuse me, community, and how it kind of pulls together and influences these books as well.
Yeah, because oftentimes, especially if even if you go off of a trope or a cliche and you make it your own, you
Mhm.
add in the moral dilemma. I love that because that means you're teaching the reader something, and it's not
Mhm.
necessarily teaching a child. It's not necessarily teaching an adult. You're just teaching the reader and
Mhm.
showing them something that maybe they've forgotten. Life has
Mhm.
a way of, beating all the goodness out of you sometimes. So checking your brain at the door and then getting into this book like, oh man, you know what? I am different because I'm taking my baggage in here and now I'm experiencing these different characters because I think science have even proven that your love for a character is still real passion and
Mhm.
love. So you can't avoid that. And people love characters. They love finding new characters and new things to be nerds about.
Most definitely, yeah. And then it's so interesting. Every reader going into the book, they come with their, of course, as you said, their own baggage and their own experiences, and they're going to grab onto different characters and see themselves in different characters as well. I'm working on another book called The Alchemist, the Sign, and the Thief, and we have like three very different main characters. So it's very interesting to see reader feedback on who they resonate with, what scenes they resonate, and like see themselves in. And I definitely see myself in all of the characters, but it's so fun seeing like all my friends are like, oh, like this character, I really felt for them in this scene, or this character, like I understand why they did this, but at the same time, I feel like they shouldn't have. But just seeing everyone's reaction and then what they can pull out of it, because from different moral dilemmas, it's kind of like the trolley problem where they see this issue and they'll respond in two different ways. So it's fun to see what people take from these moral dilemmas and these little lessons and stories.
Oh,
A-
cool.
Absolutely. So you mentioned how you were more of a Marvel comic reader. What was one of your favorite Marvel comics to really dive into?
Um, I actually haven't like read physical Marvel comics, but like the Marvel movies, I don't know. I'm more of like an anime side of
Hmm.
the comic community. But I feel like it's more comedic and lighthearted because the stuff I've seen from DC. I think I watched like Gotham on Netflix during COVID. Like it was good, but I need my comic to relief. I need like Star Lord and Ant Man. They're very funny, and I need it to be, lighthearted with a mix of
Yeah.
sincerity.
Well,
Oh, okay.
even when you
Those
go
are cool.
into that light novel and anime side of things, you have a lot more comedic tendencies in the stories than you would see even in American cartoons or TV series or movies. So there's a different feel to how they say
Mm,
a story and how they do things over there that I think is it's affecting all kinds of media, whether it be print media, TV shows, movie. A
mm,
lot of people are hopping on the anime train because they're getting a different kind of experience in their
mm,
story, whether it be connection or
yeah.
whatever.
Mm. Especially like with the whole like aesthetic of it all and like the art style, it's, I don't know, I feel like a palate cleanser to a lot of Americans who were very used to our comic book style. So seeing like a cute and like sometimes whimsical one, it's like, oh, that is adorable. Like I know as a kid I loved my Pokemon cards
Hmm.
and I only wanted the cute Pokemon cards. So if it was powerful and ugly, you could have it, okay? As long as it was cute, I would take it. And that was kind of anime for me, so I was very interested in the art style. And then of course like later the stories that went along with it, and just like structures that you wouldn't think of and tropes that you wouldn't think of, like I was reincarnated in a dungeon and now I have to eat my way through the gingerbread walls.
Yeah.
It's very interesting being able to explore that and then seeing where it kind of goes, because I know light novels have definitely changed from when I did join like the light novel and anime community.
Hmm. Oh, 100%. I mean, especially that's the part that I really like about what you added in with Czar in the characters. You're showing people the actual your mental image of what these characters are like, and it's adding in that comic book flavor. You know, we know what Ant-Man should look like. We know what Iron Man should look like. The tales that we read them in and go through, those are the ever-evolving, changing part of the character. So that's one of the things that it speaks to everybody when you add in that level to your craft or your passion. It speaks to just show how much thought you put into it as well.
And then, as the kids say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So, like, I could spend a whole book describing what Cesar's face looks like. Or we could draw it and you could look at it and you could make your own interpretations.
Yeah.
But sometimes there are also little motifs. So, for the characters in Cesar, they all have, like, these little, like, 4-pointed stars on them. So, it's kind of something that identifies the characters in that story, even when they appear maybe in different books of mine where they're not the main focus.
Yeah.
Which you can't really have with writing unless it's like, look, this character has this little star on them. Let's take note of that. But instead, a reader can do that and put that together visually rather than actually reading it. It's laid out right in front of me. But then, yeah, I do love seeing characters as well, and it helps people who can't imagine things. So my mind's eye, I like to say, is closed because I can't really imagine things in my brain. So in order to help me like see stories, I need to see fan art. I need to see art from the author. And that kind of influences me as well in terms of like I can't visualize things, so I'm worried about other readers and them hopefully getting like the vibe of the character across, the outfit of the character across, and how they even hold themselves to the expressions.
Well, absolutely. That's a nice thought to put into it because, you know, when you're looking at that. The mind's eye being closed. I found that fascinating because one of the things that helps me when I do sit down and physically write is I have to draw it out. You know, anything that I've done, even when I wrote the side story for Frank in Caribe the Hunted, Kickstarter coming next year, that I went through and I had to draw it out, almost like, because Frank always said, you have the film going through in your head. You have to pick out that individual moment and then describe what's going on. I can't see the film. You have to tell me. So being able to go through and, yeah, you can list out, okay, his eyes were, one eye was slightly above the other one, but the other eye was slightly more closed, so he still looked normal. You don't have to do that. You can just draw and say, no, that's who he is. There you go. Now, can we get on with the story?
Yeah. And that's like the beauty of visual storytelling too. So in comics, you get a lot that you can't get in books, but I feel like in books, you get a lot that you can't always see in comics. Like, I feel like these like big, like, you know, Dostoevsky, like those big internal monologues, you are not going to have that in a comic. Like, I would cry if I saw a comic and it's like big classical literature.
Yeah.
Life dilemma. I'm like, no, that's not a comic,
I
but it is.
I do like Dostoevsky.
My Crime and Punishment sitting over there. I love him.
My God, what a great fucking book! Oh my God, I love Crime and Punishment. My brother told me I should listen to that one, and I did. I'm an Audible listener, and I love Crime and Punishment.
Okay. Right. I've got to check it out. I've been trying to get into audiobooks and like ebooks because I'm such like a physical book reader.
It gets me through traffic so much easier because I don't mind it because I'm like, well, I get to listen to more of the book. Okay. Yes. So you hit somebody and now there's traffic. I guess I'm just going to have to listen to this book now. Harumph.
Oh, all right, Bradbury, are you ready? Yeah.
All right. Chapter 4.
Yeah, either I'm listening, but I can't read and then draw at the same time. So, you know, I put, you know, an audiobook on of whatever. And, you know, something has to be interesting to keep me listening to it for hours on end. But, you know, I'll find one and then, you know, I can draw, you know, without a problem and still listening to a book, you know, without too much problem.
Yeah. Do you miss things in the book or can you pick all of it up? Because I feel like I would be able to focus one or focus on the other.
It's the idea of listening to someone else's creativity kicks mine, you know, into gear a bit or gets me over a bit of a maybe a hump or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, it just gets me thinking, because someone else is trying to describe their world to me, and that's what I'm doing for me, so it gives me a visual from a different someone, a smoky California misty forest. Ooh. Misty New York City, with those big pylons that keep the steam from the subways from crowding the streets. So
Yeah.
Now how do you make it look like that? Well, then that's something else. But it gives you that you can at least put it, then you hand it to somebody. Think, well, let you do it. Yeah.
Well,
that makes total sense.
I also find it's a little bit of white noise. Like when I was writing Caribe the Hunted, I popped on YouTube and I started with Wu-Tang, and then just listening to the normal, hey, you always listen to these songs, that would jostle something in my head. Like, oh, no, I have this idea now. And it often helps me write when I have something like that, like a book or a podcast or music. Something like that I find usually helps more than it hinders, because I mean, I wouldn't go start watching a new anime while I'm doing it, but if I would just want to have some white noise in the background, I'll watch something that I've watched thousands of times, like Cowboy Bebop. Okay, that's on. Now I'm writing a space, sci-fi. I pull from different things, so let me add a little bit more into the juice here that'll kick up something, and you'll remember. Oh no, I loved what they did in this episode, and it fits in with these characters. Evolving the idea often comes from, you can't really choose when the muse gives you the inspiration for it. So you just got to kind of latch onto it and ride it out and see where it goes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you listen to music while reading, or like while writing and drawing, or no? Because that's what I usually do. So I just I suck all the emotion from songs. I'm like, whoop, whoop, these vibes are mine now. But
That's an idea. Yeah, I couldn't because talking of an emotion one way or the other, and it'll pull me one way or the other, and I'll either stop the music or stop what I'm doing to listen to it or go through it. But just the story itself of what they're saying, I don't know, it's almost the same thing. It's just not for a rhythm, and I don't know that. I know if it's a horror book, I'm in that mindset, but if it's just like a radio U2 to Aerosmith to something else, it's like it's too many directions, so I would have to put something on that's consistent, or at least the same theme all the way through.
Yeah, that makes sense. I make my Spotify playlist for my books, and I'm like, well, this is the scene, and then I start playing the 3 songs I begin to put on repeat.
That's a good idea.
But I don't know. Sometimes it helps me just to get the vibes.
Sure.
I don't know. I pay attention to words, so sometimes I have to listen to a song for how it sounds and what as the kids say these days, what aura it's giving off. But I don't know. That's what usually helps me for books too, especially if I'm writing. But sometimes if I tune into the lyrics too much, I start writing them down, and I'm like, nope, this is not what needs to happen here.
Yeah, sadly, these days you really got to look into the artist before you go looking for inspiration these days, because man, some of them song lyrics are starting to sound a lot differently. I'm not going to mention any artist in particular who's been in the news, but I mean, you definitely want to watch where the source comes from.
Oh yeah,
it's like that one time I quoted Karl Marx. You gotta watch.
You really do. Yeah, I've got a few artists who I'm like, okay, they're assigned to this book. They're assigned to this book. Like the Oh Hellos, I love them dearly. They combine Greek mythology, but also Catholicism too. So I'm like, oh, okay, guys, I'm here for the ride. And then it sounds very folky, so it's of course the vibe of a fantasy book. So I think I have a few of their songs in Cesar's playlist. And then their albums also tell stories as well. So I don't know. I love storytelling in 17 different mediums, whether it's theatrical or through a light novel or through an anime.
That's a lost art. Actually having a story that you want to tell in an album is something that you don't because of how music has evolved with internet and Spotify and all this availability of, no, you can just listen to 75,000 different artists in an afternoon. Having an album is, become, I think, not less important, but it's less impactful than it used to be. Growing up, if, your favorite artist put out an album, you would camp out and wait for that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
No
It is.
releases.
I don't know. Yeah. I do love like picking certain albums and putting them on, especially the Oh Hellos, because there's like correlate. They have 4 albums that actually go together, and then 4 albums all together that tell a whole story. They're the
Wow.
4 Greek winds, Eurysboreas, Notos, and Zephyrus. So it might be so nerdy, but they inspire me a lot, especially with like the themes they put in their music too. So I'm like, oh, redemption. Oh, redemption too. Let's put that in a book.
There you go.
There you go. Especially music, I find, is something that it's very easy when you're being creative to make magic happen. Because being a creative person, you're essentially, it's like being a wizard. You're making something that did not exist before. It was not there, and now you made it. It's there. It happened. So it's like playing with magic.
It really is. And then you're like random ingredients. They could come from anything. They could come from my cat in front of me. Maybe she'll be my next villain.
Look at that.
I love her. She's so sweet. But
no, a cat is a perfect villain. It's a perfect.
Oh, she really is. She's.
They're perfect eyes. What are you talking?
Not too comfortable. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Look, you're right. I love you, and just claw onto you for no reason whatsoever.
No, or like annexing my bedroom. She's like, oh, your bed. It's not. I'm not. Like, oh, all your property. Let me just chew on that.
Yeah, that's why I went with a dog. I mean, I share the bed with a Chiweenie, so you think, oh, he's only so big, but then you get a puppy paw somewhere in the middle of the night. You're like, whoa! There's struggles with all kinds of animals.
Yeah.
Pets,
Yeah, I've found that turkeys are perfect. Like, I've got dogs, I have cats, I have chickens, but turkeys, they're my supreme pet right now.
I've never thought of actually owning a turkey. I'm going to be honest with you.
I've seen the videos, but I don't know. It's not my cup of tea, but hey, different strokes for different folks.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I love them. I can tell them a joke and they'll laugh at me.
I think they take
go, and they'll gobble back.
Walking down, my neighborhood with one. I've seen them walk. I mean, the videos that they have of people like circling a post box, a mailbox, something like that, and I go.
When I lived out in Oxford, I worked for a mushroom spawn company. So they would sell mushroom spawn, and they would grind it up. So I was grinding it up, putting it in, getting it ready for delivery. And we had a common problem because somebody in that Chester County area decided it'd be a great idea to have peacocks. So the peacocks would walk in the back of the warehouse, and they would just start eating the mushroom spawn. And then you'd have to shoo them off.
Nasty too.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
I didn't get close.
They'll put up a fight.
Yeah, I didn't get close. I'm like, there's peacocks out back there. Just shoo them away. You'd shoo them away.
That's hilarious.
Going near a peacock.
No, I love peacocks. I want peacocks so bad.
I'd say I'm from New York City. We don't have those things walking around. Okay.
We used to have wild turkeys in my backyard before we actually had turkeys, so they're very nosy, and I don't want to be mean, but they're a little bit stupid. So they're so stupid. They're nice, and it's like they follow you, and when you turn around, they're like, no, I'm not doing anything. They're funny. They're my muse. I love them.
However you get the muse.
All those criminals in New York City, those follow you.
What? No.
I'm not doing anything. All those criminals, yeah. Suspects, suspicious people. Okay.
No, they look out for you. They look out for us.
There's your next misunderstood villain. You think the turkey's just there trying to rob you, and then all of a sudden he's just looking out for you. He's making sure
exactly.
You almost got hit by a bus. You didn't know because the turkey was there to help.
Yeah.
See. I love misunderstood villains. Oh,
The
especially
real villain was
apparently
the cat,
Jeremy
because the
Renner.
cat was
It
driving the
was.
bus. Like, damn,
Yeah.
I missed again. Damn you,
Oh.
turkey.
Ah. No, or it could be the secret evil mastermind chicken. Like, I've been attacked by more chickens than turkeys. I've been bitten by a turkey once, and that's when he couldn't see me, and I like put my hand in his face. So that was my
Chickens are
fault.
vicious.
Okay, I was the villain there. Oh, chickens are. They're so self-aware. They're
My-
smart.
My dad
That's what they
actually,
mean.
he has a friend who's a mechanic. He brings his car to him all the time, and it's the only time I've actually seen this. Not that I've gone out looking, but his chickens would all be in the trees.
I'm so jealous. They love roosting. They love getting up in high places so they can see.
Well, and also so they don't get eaten, because it was the country. There's a
too.
lot of stuff that's gonna
Yeah.
try to get
Oh,
like bobcats
there's
and stuff.
so much. Yeah.
That's how you live, survival of the fittest. But it's
Mhm.
the only time I saw it. But I'm like, oh wow, look at that, just chickens in trees.
Turkeys will go in trees too. One time when we had wild turkeys, we tried chasing one in my backyard, but it took off. And around a bend, it disappeared into the treetops.
I mean, I don't know why I'm surprised by that, because they do have wings. But yeah, I mean,
They're so big, but they don't really know how to steer.
you got
So
your
they
big
have
ass
a
all the
big
way up
tail,
there,
they-
huh? Wow, Jesus.
What, I'm just, that's all I'm hearing is all of a sudden I'm craving a turkey sandwich, you know? It's like,
Yeah,
what is this?
I could go for a turkey sandwich. Now that
My
you-
goodness.
They're fascinating birds.
Look,
They're so big too.
it's like the first time you eat lamb, you're like, oh, that's why we have you around. God, you're so delicious. We kept you around for a reason.
Oh,
So delicious. Oh my God.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Wait, did you know though that the turkey almost became the bird of the United States? I think it was
Yeah.
like Ben Franklin. It was like, yeah, turkeys. I'm a little bit disappointed.
Turkeys. Like, we're
but I
not doing a
love
turkey,
turkeys.
Ben. Calm down. Doing the
Yeah, I
bald
know.
eagle. It's a
I
turkey.
know.
Bald eagle. But have you ever seen a bald eagle like head on? They're like,
Oh,
they
yeah,
just
yeah.
came from a. They're so funny. They're so cute.
Kind of
What's
a
that?
little bit of foreshadowing with the, national bird being a predator, but okay.
Yeah, I know, and they want your chickens too. They want your turkeys.
They want your anything they can grab.
They
do you
do. Yeah.
Chickens and turkeys, they want
Your
your
baby,
everything.
they'll
Oh,
take a
one
baby.
time I was on a boat and we saw one dive down and grab a fish. We were like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So,
I've only
yeah.
seen a picture of it online, but my brother, he pointed this out to me once, and I like to point it out to people because everybody always, look at the deer, look at the deer. They will eat a bird. If they can catch it, they will eat a bird.
That's crazy. No, and
Everybody
they would
likes,
run into your
look at
car, too.
Bambi. Come. Yeah, it's different
Oh.
when Bambi eats his bird friend. You shouldn't have been that close.
That's why there were no bird friends, except little bluebirds, They could,
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. No, and then they come for your car too. I'm so scared driving home at night. I'm like, oh, don't hit me, don't hit me, don't hit me. And they stand with those glowing eyes
I've
off
had
the side of the
a deer
road.
tackle into my car. My business partner, Chris, we were coming back from a podcast like 10 years ago. And I was in my Volkswagen and I turned to talk to him and look at him. And I see this deer, boom, just run right into my car. Hit the fender, almost hit Chris's arm because he had his arm out the window
Holy
and tumbled
moly.
away. Got up and then ran away.
Nope,
they're tough.
nope. It's crazy. No, they destroyed my mom's car one time. It was
Mm.
right into the side, and we were in like a residential district too. The deer's here. Oh,
Just feel lucky we don't have moose. They kill people.
Oh,
'cause
nope.
They're tall.
Nope.
And when they come crashing down, well, guess where you are? Right in the
Oh my
red zone.
gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
No,
good.
so moose is like the final boss. It's like if you can survive the deer, try your hand at the moose.
Just don't live in the country Jersey where they said, no, you can't hunt bears. See how that one turns out. I will once again, you're not charging enough to get out of your state. I will gladly pay more than $6, Jersey. I will gladly pay more than $6.
Oh my
Don't
goodness.
undercut yourself. Okay? You are caviar. You are not dollar store bell cheese, okay? You are caviar.
Well, Matt, thank you for everyone from Delaware.
I have nothing against Jersey. I'm just very happy to leave every time I go there.
Well, tell us more about the convention that you Cape Con. I mean, that was
Cape Con.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I went. I think I went. It was NeshiCon I went to, and it was pretty cool because it was at a library. I was like, who knew they could have comic conventions at libraries? Not I. And so I went to our teen advisory board. At the time, I think I was the secretary. So it was about like a year and 2 months ago, maybe. But everyone kind of looked at me like, what? But our teen services librarian was like, sure. And so we picked a date. It was accidentally NeshiCon's date, but we looked at our calendar because we were like, okay, we have this here, and like that was the only date that worked. We were like, oh, we're so sorry, man. But NeshiCon has my greatest apologies. But we couldn't really change it because we had flyers and everything printed. So James from Ocean City Comic Con gave us some recommendations as to get the word out there. And I don't know. It just, I don't know, feels like a fever dream now because it was a lot leading up to it.
I had some good times talking with Justin and Blair and his wife Dana, and walking around. It was very nice. It was a nice day. There was a good crowd out there. It was a nice crowd. So
yeah, we were spoiled with the weather.
I mean, being blessed with the weather is a big thing. I tried throwing an event for my charity. It was called Party at the Park, and then it turned into Party at a Park when it decided to rain that day.
No. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
but
the weather has been screwing me recently.
No, especially at the library though, because people come when it's really nice out. So they're like, let's take a stroll and let's go to the library every time it's really nice outside. So we got a lot of foot traffic.
Yes.
And we did like crafts and everything outside too because we couldn't use every single one of our meeting rooms. So we were like, how can we do crafts and sidewalk shop? And we have a bunch of kids, especially like homeschooled people at the library. So we're very outdoorsy and we're very crafty too. Like that's probably one of our most like well attended events is our adult programs for crafts, but also our teen art series as well. So we were like, we needed to be a little crafty, a little creative, but it would have been a little sad if we were rained out and stuck inside all day.
Yeah, but it was very nice. It was sunny outside. It was nice AC on the inside because.
Oh yeah.
But overall, I mean, saw some old faces and some new ones, and just had a really nice time. It was a very nice thing. So.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming. It was awesome. Yeah, being able to see everyone that came out because I was a little worried it might just be the volunteers and the vendors. But honestly, we were so excited to have as many vendors as we did and as many creative places from like Baltimore and Philly and all over Delaware as well. So seeing that amount of like creativity come together, as well as our local community too as well, because there were a lot of new faces that we've never seen at the library, and there have been a few people who since Cape Con have popped up in our teen department.
So is there going to be another one or something else or larger? What's in the pot? What's cooking?
Yeah.
All right. So I think we determined it would be the 13th of September next year. So mark your calendars. We still need to do our flyers and everything, but we're planning on making it hopefully a bigger event because our director was like, this is really cool. And so all the staff were like, this is amazing. Because no one really knew what they were getting themselves into when little Mia walked up and was like, we just got the comic convention. Yeah. So now that everyone has kind of seen what it looks like, we're hopefully going to make it bigger.
Okay.
And we got a bunch of tips from people who came, and even James, he gave us some critique as well, so we can make it better next year. But we had a lovely turnout for the first time.
Good.
We had our volunteers count like every person who came through the door, so whether they were for the library or for the convention, we got like upwards of like 900 people there. So it was
that's very impressive.
That's really
very 900 is nothing to scoff at. That's 900 people is very impressive. So
yeah, especially at the library. But
I mean,
yes,
Beautiful
especially
day at
this
the
day and age. I
library.
mean, here's what our library is, you know.
You know, I've
yeah,
Jesus.
it's like a community center now, so it's like
Mhm.
books, but also like any program you can think of. Like we have library, of course, we have art, we have book clubs, and we literally anything. Someone walks up and they're like, that'd be really cool if you had this program. Like 9 times out of 10, we can make it happen.
Right.
Sure.
So we're hoping to improve next year, but also get feedback from other people on what they would like to see. Like our gaming tournament was super, super popular, and we had escape rooms and D&D. So we're hoping to put like more emphasis on that kind of stuff in activities throughout the day.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
So,
especially when you
yeah.
look at D&D, that's something that I've seen at cons. And if you have, as the one thing that I see some cons do really well are signs. People got to know where can I go for this activity. So signs
Yes.
are a big thing. Flyers are a big thing. You're already doing these things that are leading to your success of those 900 people. That's very impressive numbers. So making it bigger than that, I have no doubt in my mind that you will be able to do it because Frank had an amazing time. You know, it's unfortunately I had a couple of different events and filming stuff that kept me from there, but especially an awesome con like this that can help boost the community, help boost people and the vendors, because now a whole bunch of people are aware of the vendors that you had there. You come back next year, they see them again. You're building the vendors up as well as the community, and that's the whole point of having a good convention like this.
Yes, definitely. For our signage, we did luckily have banners. I think Print Coast to Coast did them. And we did them really last minute, but they came out amazing. So props to Print Coast to Coast. They did an amazing job. So
Right.
yeah, but we need more like eye level signage. Like we had banners above everything so you could see it from far away. But if you were right in front of it, it was kind of hard to see. So we hopefully will have more of that, and we might do like big sales and stuff for hopefully more funding this year. So we can look at investing into signs as well.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
people
Nice.
love baked goods. It's just
Yeah.
like one of our favorite people we've had on the podcast, Jerks Productions. They have food, and they have their movies and stuff. So it's like
You've gotta
we'll
have
get
food.
you here with the food, but you're gonna stay for this other stuff we have.
We'll keep
Yeah.
we'll keep you here with good food, you know. That's how you ain't
Yeah.
going.
It's
Yeah. So,
baked goods and food. That is how you get people to stay there all day. Well, I don't have to eat. There's all this stuff here.
right.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we were so lucky also have concessions at Cape Town. So we worked with someone, I believe she was from the Lions Club, and then she also worked for a camp for like children who weren't super privileged to send them on something called Camp Hope. So they were like, well then, as concessions for your con, if we can keep our proceeds. So we actually got a huge donation of hers chips. We still have hers chips in the library. Don't tell anyone, okay? But because hers will do things for nonprofits. So it was literally like the whole community coming together, like an artist community, our volunteer club community, and our library community as well. So hopefully we'll have more people on our like what do I call it, like committee or board. I'm not very official.
Sure.
So
We'll call it a committee.
yeah. Yeah, it was just two of us who organized almost the entire thing. So like Ogre definitely gave us a whole bunch of advice. James gave us advice. Like if I was like, oh, what do I do? I was like, James.
Yeah.
So
He's a really great guy.
he's the best. He
Sure.
is. And then some people like gatekeep things. So he was like, here's where I get my flyers. Here's how to do your flyers. He's like, here's what I recommend for the flyers. Because some people will be like, you go flyers and see what happens.
Yeah.
So it was
Right.
nice having a bunch of support too.
Great. That's great.
Yeah.
James is a wellspring of just information, you know, just super nice. I can't stop saying nice things. He's super, super nice guy. So easy, you know, but it came out, it went very well. So, and like you said, you had 900 people there. I mean, that's impressive. That's impressive. You know, that's nothing, you know, to scoff at. So take a bow. I mean, that was very, very good.
That's a big bucket
Thank
to win.
you.
A huge bucket to win. And
Yeah.
Oh,
we wish for all your continued success because you have 3 amazing books. You're working on many other projects. You have an amazing event that is, you know, building the community up. You're giving inspiration to the young people reading and older people reading your books, showing them a nice escape to pass their time instead of just scrolling past on their phone, expanding, different things that you can impart with a good story and touching the lives of people that necessarily, I always like to say it on here, but you don't know who you're going to influence and who you're going to affect. And it sounds like you're affecting a lot of people. Well over 900 already.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So this is one question that I do like to pose out there. So with any of your books in the future, what would you prefer, just personally, to see them evolve out to? Would you like to see an anime adaptation of one of your premises? Would you like to see a play or a movie? How would you like to see these books and these premises that you've put out there? How would you like to, we're in fantasy land here, how would you like to see that evolve in the future?
First and foremost, I would like to finish my books so we can get the entire plot. So all of them are actually like in the same world. So once we complete that world, I would love to have a fan base that can, draw their like red string murder map and be like, oh, this character was here, this character was here, they were there, and this, that, and this, that, and they're like, oh, it's all coming together. But eventually, I don't know, like I would love to have like a stage adaptation. So I'm a theater person. I'm actually a behind the scenes person, so I did a lot of like set painting in my high school and also design. So some of like the t-shirts and pins I did. But I'd love to have merch and see people with like pins from my books. But I don't know. It's hard to say for like an anime adaptation because right now I'm kind of like in a little limbo between anime and then the young adult community for like just normal books. Maybe movies? I don't know. I have no idea, but I'd love to see like what other people would do with it instead, because I can't see these books as like animated things because I can't quite see them. But I would love maybe a graphic novel adaptation too. I'm sorry, my words are not coming out properly.
But no, graphic novel, I would think
yeah.
that would be a really good way to expand out the story because it's a lot like what you're doing in your books with adding the characters. It's just now here's the story for this, and you can now see everything that I have to tell. It's another way of extending it out to people who may not necessarily read. Just like, have you had the thought of doing an Audible version of your book?
Yes, but it's a little expensive, and I'm in college right now, and that's also expensive. But I might think of like a Kickstarter, especially for my next book, because they're like three like very distinct points of view. So I would love to get different voice actors to do each character, which would be super fascinating. But I have to save up my balloons for that.
It kind of has like a feel of like one of those old time radio shows where you have the multiple different characters and it's going through. So that speaks to what you're doing with your stories. To where, believe me, I was part of a 2-man group that tried to make an animated web cartoon. It's expensive. They were 2 minutes each and extremely expensive. So I get it. I get it. You do what you can.
Yeah.
I made picture books. Yeah, I'm a photographer. I have 2 books out now, and I'm working on my 3rd. But you do what you can with what you have. And then
definitely,
I find it's fun to have a little thought experiment. How would I want this to evolve in the future? Because when you already have that thought of how am I doing this in the future, it'll maybe jostle something loose of a writer's block or whatever have you. So finding inspiration from anywhere, even just letting yourself dream. But like, you know what? When I'm being interviewed by the New York Times someday, probably never going to happen, but it's fun to dream.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I would love to see fan content more than what I would create instead. So like, once the foundation for my world has been laid for everyone, like I know what's gonna happen. I think I've had it plotted out for like 3 years now. It's very terrifying how long it's been in my headspace. But I would love to see like what kind of fan art they would make, what kind of fan theories people would have, and then playing off of that, and then what people want to see out of me instead. So it's like my brain matter, but then let me know what your brain thinks about this, because I don't know. It's not a book really without readers, and so readers can say so much and reveal so much about my books that I have not even known. Um, yeah, and just seeing what they would make instead, and kind of letting them like rummage through like the rubbish I leave for them, like a raccoon. Um,
There's a pile
I
out
don't know,
back. Just go through it and let me know what you find.
exactly. Let me know how you piece together.
Rummage sale of things I thought about. That's it.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's a T-shirt. You know that, right? That's a
There's your merch.
T-shirt.
That's a T-shirt right there.
Rummage
yeah.
sale things I thought about.
No, but really, like I've been a fan artist and I wrote fan fictions in middle school, so I would love to know like someone else's creative interpretation of my work and just kind of like sit back and see what everyone else does. This would be so fun. So on my list of like achievements as an author, getting fan fiction and fan art is definitely one of them.
Just put it out there.
Yeah.
Give me your feedback.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
You make a contest for fan art for your books.
Get one signed. Have one signed. For them.
Yes. I'm doing that right now, but no one has taken the bait. But I did do a photo competition, and people have taken pictures of my books.
There we go.
For advanced reader copies. So I think advanced reader copies. I know, and now doing like applications for them. So it's like a review copy of the book. So I'm getting 10 to send out to people. So it's like, hey, I have early access, and like a fun stamp on the cover that says better than everyone. Pretty much, but it's like to get reviews and get it out there. But I also I don't have them with me, but I've been 3D printing like swag for my book. So I'm like, guys, if you make art in my book, if you take pictures in my book, I will give you 3D printed things with my book, of course.
Ooh.
A little incentive.
Yeah.
Never hurt.
Yeah. I think the sun charm. It's not gonna. Ooh, maybe it's no. But also been 3D printing things. So these came off the 3D printer like an hour ago.
Wow.
But
Bookmarks?
people. Yes, 3D printed bookmarks. Yeah, so they're like
That's cool.
textured. It's
Oh wow!
Oh, that's awesome.
I may have to. I'll break out a pencil for. I want one of those.
Yeah, man. That's a 3D printed bookmark. I don't know why it's a great idea. That of course, why not? That's a brilliant thing, because especially when you're looking at material cost, it's practically nothing. You're not making
it really is.
the Eiffel Tower. Yeah.
Yeah, especially for ones like this. Like my book has like alchemy in it, so this is the alchemical symbol for water. If you turn it like this, it's suddenly fire. But we've made a whole bunch of these, so we have like salt, sulfur, arsenic. I didn't do mercury. I didn't do gold. But you get the gist. But I have little keychains that go and attach to them, so it's like, oh look, you can get the book, but also the 3D printed merch from the author.
That's good.
So.
That's great marketing right there. You're giving them something else to sink their teeth into, so now they're getting more invested. And now it's something like a keychain. That's something that another fan could see, like, they're a fan. Okay, I see.
Oh yeah,
it's like you're making a club.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's the Cool Kids Club. You read me as books club. Sitting in the creative little dumpster club. Dumpster fire. Oh, we do have a 3D printed dumpster fire.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was one of the first things we printed.
Very.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But also, I love merch. So I'm like, if I'm an artist and I have a 3D printer, that is some cheap merch. And if my brother is paying for filament, then
very nice.
That's how you make the dream happen, is keeping a lot of things for fans to attach on to, especially when you're dealing with something like the imagination of a person's mind, reading words, and making it a lot more easy for people to get what you mean as the author and what your interpretation of this, and then letting them and their minds go, especially the fan art and the pictures. Those are really great things to tie into the person who is a fan of your work. You're giving them something more. So you have all the right ideas, especially with, amazing content, amazing event that you can have people come out and see you at. And we already know September 13th next year, That's where you're going to
Oh
be able
yeah.
to see her.
Yep.
I'm
That is.
there.
Do you have any other
Yay.
cons that you are going to be going at and plans in the future? Any other tables?
Yeah. I'll be at Ocean City Comic Con this year. Hopefully I'm near the Ogre's Grove. I was with him last year mooching off this table, but I actually have a table this year. Really exciting. Shout out to James and Ogre, literally foster me in the Comic Con world. But I'll also be at Dover Comic Con, and then I might do some book signings in December and January. It's like my college like winter break, and my book's releasing then, so I'm trying to get the book into Browscott Books. If you've been to Rehoboth, so it's the bookstore there. There's a Barnes and Noble in Rehoboth, and then in January I'm hoping to do a book signing or reading or something at the library because
Ooh,
I work there and I've got my connections.
Yeah,
There
I
you-
hope so.
there you go.
Oh yeah.
I got okay. There you are.
But it's keeping yourself busy as well, especially getting out there to being in front of the fans that's 90% of the work. They're not going to
Yeah.
know you if you're
Yeah.
not there and selling yourself and your
Mhm.
wares. You have a lot of stuff for them to
Yeah.
also.
Mhm.
You're setting yourself out from the sea of vendors that people go to the cons at. You know, I've seen just from a couple cons that I've been to recently. You see people who are authors and they're sitting at their table and they're reading a book. Nobody's going by. They're there. You see them
Mhm.
walk by later. Maybe they're talking to a person. Having merch and stuff like that, it sets you out from the other people because now
Oh yeah.
people are like, oh,
Mhm.
but oh wow, look at this bookmark. I never thought of that.
Mhm.
Even if you don't get them on the book, you have something coming in from somebody.
Mhm.
So there's a
Yeah.
diversification that you have there.
Mhm. But then it's also like standing up and saying, I like your cosplay. That looks really cool. Love that character in that anime too. And reaching out to your
Yeah,
people.
absolutely.
Especially, yeah.
You have to be
It's-
approachable and personal. You know,
Mhm.
you got to be.
Oh yeah.
You can't be the grumpy guy in the corner. You
No.
know, nobody's walking up
And
to that guy.
yeah, no. If I'm not smiling, like I have a very like worrisome face. Like I don't know. I call it like my RDF. Like I have a resting distressed face.
Okay.
So sometimes I'll be lost in thought, and people are like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Oh, that's all I was just thinking. Oh, don't worry about me."
Resting
Um,
distressed face. I've never heard of it,
yeah,
but no,
my
that makes
brother
sense.
has it too.
Oh, don't worry. This is my resting distress face. You know. See, that's another T-shirt right there. See, look at that. $1 million right there. $1 million right there.
I'm okay, and on the back,
I'm
this
okay.
is just my worried distress, resting distress face. I love it. That's two T-shirt ideas right there. And that one is one color, which is important when you're looking at printing. A one color shirt, back and front, you're good.
Oh yeah.
Do it in glow in the dark. So they can find you. You're still there. You know, no matter what. You know, even though you're surprised. Why are the lights out? But my T-shirt still says, "Don't worry, this is my resting distress face."
Like lost, like wandering the city streets. Like, oh, do you need help? Oh, you've just got a resting distress face. It's alright. You'll figure it out eventually, someday.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But
See, look at that.
yeah, exactly.
I love
Or just
Brandon
have a
line.
resting distress face shirt, and then people walk up to you and be like, "Wow, what a cool shirt!" And you look at them like, and it's like you probably have anxiety too. When you pull your anxiety prime out of your Amazon account.
That's just another T-shirt. That's all. You could have a whole selection of it. You know,
Oh
what
yeah.
hell,
I think so.
anxiety, distress, confused.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, hey, you can just check. Put a box next to each one. Check out which one is you. That's it.
Chronically concerned.
There we go.
Look at that. Look at that. You're a millionaire. Why are you worried about school loans and everything like that?
It's
My God, you're
the
sitting on
loans
$1
are
million.
gonna be paid off in no time. You know.
Yeah, I know.
Time
What are
to
you
work.
talking about? Oh, I've got school loans. Girl, you're paid.
Oh.
Oh man.
You do have now the most interesting table at any convention.
Yeah.
3D prints,
You do now.
T-shirts, keychains, books. My God, you're gonna stand out. Like a
Yeah, and
sore
I
thumb.
do have a t-shirt press, so yeah. Courtesy of Ogre, he was like, I have a t-shirt press I haven't touched in a really long time. Do you want it? I was, sure. So, yeah.
Sure. DFTs.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Yeah.
also totes, it can print on like anything.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I
Yep.
even made like a custom stole for graduation. They were like, you can't wear a stole if they don't give it to you. And so someone was like, I have a blank one, so I put little like logos for my stories on it, and no one told me to take it off. So I walked across stage with something that represented my books on it.
That's awesome.
No one knew, but
Look at that. That's great. That's
awesome.
fantastic.
That's awesome. And ingenuity.
surprise.
Thinking outside the box. That's great.
Oh yeah. Never lived inside the box. It's hard to get inside the box.
So much continued success to you, Mew. I mean, you have so much going on, and I imagine this is only just a drop in the bucket of what we're going to see in the future from you, because a future store, obviously, with all your merch and your books is in the future. Just
Bookstore one day.
You know what they say, location, location, location. You know, just find the location, everything else will come. You know, student loans, what student loans? They're paid.
Yeah, I don't have any so far, so
There you go.
I'm doing all right.
So far.
So far.
I'm on like a 2-year scholarship, might be a 3-year scholarship, but after that, we might need to start packing up whatever we make at conventions.
Start now. You'll get with your, especially with your t-shirt, future t-shirt empire. You're not gonna have a problem at all.
Oh yeah,
because people still love weird t-shirts.
I love it.
Weird
Oh, have you ever
sayings.
seen the videos online? And it's like, the like ones where they make like college majors as TV shirts, or just like it's totally photoshopped this, and it's just like this like awfully colored text with like an explosion and then a possum and then pixelated sunglasses.
Yeah.
That's what I aspire to.
Yeah.
Iconic.
I'm sure I'll find it though.
Well, especially now that the phone and the algorithms all heard it, so it'll just.
They're listening right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Also, we have 3D printed possums.
More stuff. Look at that.
Oh, that's
Everything.
cool.
Yeah.
Out of here. Look at that.
He's like fully articulated too.
Yeah.
So
That's
he's
awesome.
great. We didn't design him, but he's so funny. We actually put him in the dumpster because he's like a little trash dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
When are they? You know, I've seen those things. I've seen ones that it's like a dragon and a snake with the long, parts that kind of move with it. When are they going to come back with that one where it wasn't? It was like at the time the bobblehead of it, where it's be like a turtle, and I used to get it at the bottom of like a cereal, where you connect the head and it would bob.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I never see that anymore. And no one ever, I guess it's, ancient history, and somebody has to get up in Egypt or something like that. Oh, look what we found, bottom of, sugar smacks, which no one's ever heard of anymore. So, yeah, idea what you're talking about, Frank,
No, I think they still have like solar powered ones. Like I have a solar powered like bobble shark right now. He's just like there's like a bow on top of him.
It was on by gravity, that more ancient thing before solar, gravity. Yeah.
Gravity.
Because of, it was just the motion of, I guess, the world,
Little pet shops had those heads.
That little bird that was always in cartoons that got the little drop of water and it kept going back.
The birds? Yeah, I know. No, you're thinking
But
Spencer, going back into Spencer and Alien, Oh my goodness.
The lack of bobbleheads is seriously disturbing, but
yes,
we'll make it through somehow. Until you
maybe
make a
we'll
whole
get
empire on
bobbleheads.
bobbleheads. Yeah, there you go.
Maybe bobbleheads characters. You see Cesar go, oh, he bobbles, and you can hit him off the shelf and go, oopsies.
A whole empire in merchandise.
Yes.
My podcast. It's amazing.
Remember us. Well, that's all we say is just remember us.
Remember us when you're at the top.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
No. That's what I say to all my friends. I'm like, remember me when you get famous. because I know a lot of weird, talented people. Like, remember me when you're on the news.
Birds of a feather tend to flock together. As they say.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
So true.
we're gonna make sure I'm gonna make sure I link down in the description here where people can find your books and find you, and we will definitely have you back on, especially when the next one is being released next year. Drop me a line. You're always welcome on Tales of the Hunted, Mia.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for being
Yeah,
our.
you got to get a clothing line for your podcast.
Yeah, no, that's in the works. It's definitely
Okay.
in the works. But you know, as they say, money.
Oh yeah, but Michael's has $3 or $2.99 Gildan t-shirts.
Okay.
So
Yes.
if you have a heat presser, you think you know someone with a heat presser or screen printer, they're
Mhm.
not as expensive as you think they may be.
Well, you know, the Bojangers and Wall Hangers merchandise empire, that's coming in the future as well. But
Oh,
they have a lot of you have a lot of different stuff that people are going to be snatching up off your tables, especially coming up to the Ocean City Comic-Con and all the events that you mentioned. And,
please take it, guys. Please.
stop on down, because I definitely know one Mr. Frank Percy's going to be down there. I have it scheduled out to be down there as well, so I'll be walking around doing some live coverage for the
Yay.
network. So definitely Ocean City Comic-Con is one of those places that I know once I go back there, I'm going to start realizing, oh, I know a lot of people here.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be fun. So we have fans can look forward to that coming in the future, as well as all the stuff coming out on this network. I always like to end off this podcast the same way every time, and that's: we love you, we miss you, and we want to see you next time. Until then, game on, boys and girls. Bye bye.
Bye.